Day. To those of you that will be watching the replay, make sure you watch part 1 first. And like I always say, information is what separates, it's what divides us into level. Information is what divides us into separate levels. The information I'm exposed to will always give me an edge over you. Do you understand? And that's one thing this meetings we are holding is all about. Like I said before during our last meeting, the guest speakers you have here are great minds, are people I've worked with on one way or the other. People have seen what they do. They are people of value. And most of them are coming here free to give you value, to teach you something that would change your life, not for their sake, but for your sake. So I want you today to pay attention. Pay attention. Get your book and your pen. I'll tell you a short story before I go on. I'll tell you the story that inspired me to do this, to do what I'm doing today. I'll tell you the story that inspired me to do what I'm doing today. Now, I was in the ward one day. And a young girl was crying. I could feel tears. I said I could feel tears. I could see tears on the little girl's eyes, and her stomach was swollen, her temperature very, very high. We gave all the drugs we want to give. We gave everything we should give, and there was no solution. There was no result. The temperature kept on increasing. And the mother said something. She said, I want a voluntary, what are they calling it? I want to take my child away. I know what is wrong with my child. So I walked up to the woman and asked her, what is wrong with your child? She said, my child is possessed. I want to take her to where they will deliver her. So I rushed to the case note and I checked the case note. And what I discovered that this child was a sickle cell patient. Now, she is the cause of what is happening to her child. But now she's accusing the child of witchcraft. Now, there are a lot of people out there. There are a lot of people here in this meeting. There are a lot of people watching this replay. You will make that same mistake and you will accuse people. I'm not disputing the fact that things like this don't happen. But I'm just saying that you can make that mistake of accusing somebody or taking the wrong decisions because why? You refuse to listen to this information we are going to share with you today. So I want you to pay attention. I want you not to be like the people yesterday that came in and left back, came in, left back. I want you to pay attention to these people. I have 2 people on board. I'll be bringing them to introduce themselves shortly. The first person is Nurse Adesoya. This lady is a very wonderful lady, a very smart lady, intellectually sound. You need to see her. You need to see her speak. You need to see her writings. She's an A-level student. Do you understand? I also have scientist Oluwa Susi in the house, a very wonderful person, a very caring person, and a supporter of my brand. I'm super excited to have them today, and I'll be bringing them live now just to introduce themselves for let's just see their face. I'm going to give them time to introduce themselves and talk about themselves, but let's just see their beautiful faces. Hello, Oluwa Susi,
hello people,
Eammnuel and JesuNifemi. I'm super excited to have you today. Oluwa
we're
Susi,
excited.
Eammnuel, can you just say what are you going to say
Hi.
now? Amen. Have you what? Can I hear you?
Hello everyone. It's a great privilege and opportunity to join us. Yeah.
Okay. I think Adesonya mic. Can I hear you now? Your mic is muted though. Okay, it's unmuted now. Okay.
Adesonya JesuNifemi, and I'm happy to be here.
Can you hear her sweet voice? I told you she's wonderful. She's my crush. So we'll be giving them each of them 15 minutes to speak to us on this subject matter. And after those 15 minutes, a lot of you that have sent questions to me privately, I'll be reading your questions to them, and they'll be giving you appropriate answers. So please just jot things down. Jot things down from these people. You may not see them again. As you are seeing them like this, they want to go to UK. You may not see them again, so you may not hear from them again. So please jot things down. So with a clapping notation, let me clap because people are not on the live video. Let me hand over to JesuNifemi. So you have the stage, ma.
Okay. Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here. And what we're going to talk about is a very important um, topic. And I mean, everybody should have an idea of the medical things you need to know before you get married. Now, we know that marriage is very important. In fact, I would say that marriage is like one of the major things that happen in a person's life. However, we have people that don't want to marry anyway, but if you want to get married, marriage is something that is a major milestone. Let me say that it's a major milestone in anybody's life. And you don't want to get it wrong. Aside the spiritual aspects and others, you want to know that what you are getting into medically is something that's going to stress you out. Now, these medical checkpoints are things that are very important. And you know that when we, like the topic says, before you say I do, that means before you get married. But then I believe that these are things you need to talk about very early in your relationship, not just when you're about to say, okay, I'm going to get married to you, not just when you're almost at the altar, okay, a few weeks to your wedding, you need to run some tests. It's not supposed to be like that. If you go to YouTube, you see so many YouTubers say, okay, I want to, these are the tests you need to do before you get married. I believe it's something you need to talk about, the tests you need to do already before you go far into the relationship. So now I have like four major points here that I would like to discuss. The first one is your blood group, the blood group system. The second one is the genotype. The third is fertility. The fourth, family history. Okay, I have five. And the fifth one is sexually transmitted infections or diseases. Now, moving to the first one, that's the blood group system. For the blood group system, the blood group system is not something that is so serious or something that is really, really inimical, something very dangerous. Now we all have blood group, and when you go to the clinic, they ask you what's your blood group. I am AA, I am AB, I am B positive, I am whatever. Now the blood group is something you need to know because it affects more of childbearing. Now the blood group we know we have A, we have B, we have AB, and we have A positive, we have A negative, we have B positive, B negative, and we have AB positive, AB negative. Now, an individual that is A has an antigen. Antigens are like, okay, there's a building now that has something in it. And antigens are like they're like the ones living in the building. Now, surrounding the antigens are antibodies that protect what is living in the building. So if I am A, I am blood group A, I'm carrying antigen A, and I have antibodies that will fight anything against A, anything that is not A. Those are the things that they will fight. So probably B. We have A, B. So anything that's not A, they'll be fighting. So that's B. And call them antibodies. So we have antibody B, and they are usually located in plasma. Let me not bore you with the details of that one. I feel like it's too stressful. But I know that we all know that everybody has B, A positive. Now, the positive on it and the negative that we have is due to resource. Resource is like a system, is an antigen too on our red blood cell. Now, a person that has resource would have will carry the positive sign on their blood group. So if I have resource on my red blood cell, I'm going to be carrying A. Prevention, I'm A positive. Sorry, I am A. Then I'll be carrying A positive. But if I don't have the resource on my red blood cell, I'm going to be carrying a negative sign. So even if I am A, but I don't have resource, I'm going to carrying a negative sign. That's A negative. Sorry. Now, if you want to get marrying someone that has a probably you're A positive and you want to marry someone that is A negative or B negative or AB negative, it's not an issue. The only issue occurs when you have a child. When you have a child that takes negative, probably I'm a lady and I am positive, and the person I married is a man and he has a resource that is negative. Now, if I marry a resource negative man, there's every probability that my child could be carrying the negative resource. That means the person doesn't have resource. Okay, now if I give birth to the first child and the first child is negative, there's this normally in utero the blood doesn't mix like the mother's blood and child blood doesn't mix. But once through the process of delivery, there's every possibility. In fact, the chances that the blood of the mother will mix with that of the child is very high. And once this happens, there's going to be a sensitization in the system of the mother. That means there's going to be a stimulation that will fight against that baby's blood. And so that baby that you give birth to at first might be fine, but subsequently you might be having something called hemolytic disease of the newborn. That means before fetus, before you even give birth, or before a person gives birth, the individual will start having miscarriages. The baby will start dying and dying and dying. So you want to be sure: am I resource negative or resource positive? That means am I A positive or A negative? Who am I marrying? Is person A positive or is person A negative? If you are marrying, okay, what are you going to do for my child to be safe? Because we have there's medicine has really improved. There's an injection they give at 7 months, and they also give 72 hours after delivery to the mother to prevent the hemolytic disease of the newborn. That means babies dying in utero or miscarriages for subsequent pregnancies. That's just basically a resource. I know that the person that is coming up next will be able to like talk about this properly. Then the next one is the genotype. This is the most important. In fact, the senior them all, if there's anything like that. Okay, so we have people that have genotypes of AA, AS, AC, SS, SC. The AA is usually the superheroes. People, these people are people that can marry almost anybody. They can marry AS, they can marry AC, they can marry SE, they can marry SS if they can deal with it psychologically. They can marry anybody. But you see the people with AS. Now, this AS, this A genotype, this genotype thing, it talks about the hemoglobin in a person's red blood cell. Now, I know many of us might not have details of what the hemoglobin is, what it does. The hemoglobin is part of carrying oxygen. So as it's flow cell, that's carrying the oxygen that you are taking in to every part of your body, every organ, because no organ can survive without oxygen. So now that you are having hemoglobin, someone like AA has this hemoglobin that is just a protein hemoglobin that's just perfect. The AS, yeah, it's okay too. Genes come in pairs. So we have, if you have AS, that means one of the gene for the hemoglobin is defective and one is fine. So you can still live properly. In fact, okay, you are okay if you are carrying genotype of AS. We have AC. These ones are usually very rare from a combination of parents that are probably SC and AA or AS or AC too. That's when we have AC. Now, these AC people, they don't really abuse it. The since I've been living, I have only met I think two people that their genotype is AC. Now we also have SS. That's the really, really serious one. The one that their red blood cells are sickle shaped. They don't have the regular oval shape of a red blood cell. And their hemoglobin cannot carry enough oxygen around their body. And once the hemoglobin cannot carry enough oxygen around their body, you start having issues. Then the people that are SS, they have SS crisis. These are the periods when they start feeling pain, and I must tell you, this pain is not something you want your enemy. You don't want your enemy, someone that you don't like at all. You don't want any to go through it. Talk more of your own child. And I believe that with there's so much sensitization, like people are talking about it. People are the awareness for AS marriage is so high. we don't want people to produce excess children. It's psychologically stressful for the child, for the parents. It's stressful medically for the child. It's a lot of pain, and I don't believe anyone would want to see their children go through that amount of pain. That's why I said it initially when I was about to start the meeting, that these medical checkpoints are things you need to talk about very early in the relationship. You cannot be dating for long and then you're about to get married and then you find out that this your partner is AS and you're also AS. Once you cross it, like once you join it together, there's every probability that you have a child that is SS. And because you are long gone into the relationship, that's what happened to so many people. Although some people said they did not know, they did not run the test, and that's why we're here today to tell you about those things you need to do. Now, once they have a child that is SS, the child will be going through pain. In fact, you yourself or the couple will be regretting that they ever went into the relationship because it's not the stress, the pain is not even on them. It's just you sitting down and watching your child every period, like at intervals, going through a lot of pain. A lot of pain. They have excruciating pain, severe ones that you don't want to see anybody go through. So basically, this SS is something that we are trying to we are trying to remove. We are trying to eradicate them in the offsprings that we are producing now. So it's advisable once you want to get married or once you are in a relationship, you are seeing prospects with this person, go for your genotypic test. Go to the clinic. It's not even expensive to run those kind of tests. The person that is coming next is a scientist, so it will tell you more about the test and how it should be done. Then the next thing I'm going to talk about is family health history. Now, your family history, the health history of of the person you're marrying. Okay, this person I'm marrying, what are the common illness or health problems that they have? Like some families, they have diabetes, genetic, hereditary. That means the mother has it, or probably the father, then the child or the elder brother already has it, then maybe one uncle somewhere has it too, and a lot of people in the family is just running. You want to know this person I'm marrying, what are the common illnesses that they always have? What are the things that my children might be predisposed to or might be exposed to because I am marrying this person? These things are hereditary. So that means I have no control over it. Once I marry this person, there's every probability that the child that you will produce will have this, will have that. We have diabetes, we have hypertension, we have mental health issues like schizophrenia, bipolar disorders, and others. The diabetes for usually hereditary diabetes that is common is type 1 diabetes and manageable. Now, this family history you are doing, unlike the genotype, once you marry someone that is AS and once you are in a relationship that is AS and you are also AS, I mean, there's no two way about it. Just end the relationship. In fact, there are gatherings, churches now that would never join you once they find out that you are AS and the person you're about to marry is also AS. This one is a deal breaker. Like this marriage is not going to happen. You people cannot go ahead except you just want to bring children into serious pain. Don't think about it. But you see, for this family health issue and other things you might find out about the person, it's not a deal breaker. It's just to prepare you psychologically. Okay, this person's family, they always have diabetes. Am I sure I can deal with it? If my husband comes down with diabetes at the later part of his life, can I deal with it? Or if I have children and at 30 something, they're already having diabetes. Can I manage it? What are the lifestyle changes I need to take on? Things about your life. Because if you're marrying someone that has health issue, I'm just using diabetes as an example because it's really, really common lately. If I'm marrying someone that has diabetes, you will know that there has to be alteration in your diet. We are Nigerians and we all know that most of the food that we take now is carbohydrates and the end product, once carbohydrates enter your body, when it breaks down, it gives you simple sugar. And in diabetes, we already have difficulty controlling the glucose level. So you don't want to be eating every time yam. Then the next one, eba. The next one, semo. The next one, this. The next one, that. Rice, spag. Literally, almost everything we eat is carbohydrates, and any product is simple sugar. So you want to be careful. What are the diets we'll be eating in our house? Okay, my husband is diabetic, or this child. There's every probability because my husband's family is diabetic. I want to avoid this particular kind of food. Can you deal with that stress? Can you deal with it? Can you deal with the psychological stress of having to make sure your husband goes for checkup or checks his blood sugar every time, or someone that's constantly on medications? If you can deal with it, it's not a deal breaker. You just have to have an understanding, a communication with that person before you go ahead. There are people that have family history of schizophrenia. Well, serious mental illness. I don't know the level of love that you have that you want to use to continue that kind of relationship. But it might not, those medical illnesses might not come up in your family or even in the next 2 generations. But it is good for you to know, it's good for you to be careful, it's good for you to be sure. If you are seeing that about 5, 6, 7 people in that family is going crazy, then you should be careful. If you have like one or two, people have issues, spiritual, medical, and other things, you might still want to go ahead with proper prayers. In proper prayers before these things. So once you have prayed and you are sure that you can go ahead with that kind of relationship, then it's fine. You can go ahead. Then I want to talk about fertility. Now, fertility is not something that is in control of the couple. You can some couples get married and for 5 years they are medically okay, everything's fine, and for 5 years they don't have children. 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, 25. I've seen 25 that did not have children. It is not completely in the hands of the couple. However, there are things you need to know. There are things you need to understand. There are tests that you can run to be sure. There's this test they do for guys. They call it sperm. Check the sperm count, the quality of the sperm, and other things. You and your partner can go to the clinic. I believe it should be a consensual thing. Two of you should go together and talk about and go to the clinic and do this test so that you are sure that this person is not lying to me. This person is not deceiving me. Or you want to ask questions like, okay, please, have you aborted before? Then, have you ever had complications of any medical illness that might prevent you from having children? Talk about these things. Communication. This fertility issue, in fact, majorly has to do with communication. You have to be able to communicate with the partner. Ask questions. Ask questions. You have any medical issue I need to know about? There are ladies that have PCOS, polycystic ovary disease or something. Can't exactly remember the full meaning. Then there is endometriosis. All those conditions can prevent a woman from being able to bear children. So you want to know. Does not mean that you will leave this person. I mean, there are other methods now. There's adoption, there's IVF, other things that you can do. But you want to be sure. You want to prepare your mind. Because if you go into marriage, particularly in this part of the world, marriage, you have to procreate, you have to give birth to children, you have to have offspring. Even if you don't mind as a person, your parents will disturb you. The parents of the woman, the parents of the man, people, church members will ask you, tí ìfẹ́ bímọ ni, kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀, what is happening, have you people gone for test? So you want to sure as you are entering the marriage, is this person able to give it to you? If not, okay, what can we do? There are some things that can be treated. Sometimes some people have sexually transmitted infections that are really complicated. That are really complicated, and they might prevent a person from getting pregnant. But if there are medical interventions, there are things that you can go to the hospital and take care of, use drugs, go through surgery, and everything will be fine. You want to check all those things and be sure. For ladies, I already talked about checking the sperm count for the men. For ladies, they can check the tubes, the uterus, to be sure that everything is fine. You want to ask this person, do you have erectile dysfunction? In this situation, you cannot be hiding from each other. If you are going to be spending the rest of your life together, so you have to be sure. Do you have dysfunction? Okay. Or does the lady have issues that has gone through female genital mutilation? Females that have gone through female genital mutilation is like there's a way that they cut part of their sexual organs as a lady, and it affects them from being able to do things. In marriage, you will have sex, so you should be sure that okay, this lady can actually tolerate it, because some of those ladies are they undergo trauma, so they don't even want anybody to touch them. So if people talk about these things, you will talk about it in detail. You won't just talk about it on the surface. I am spending the rest of my life with you. You are spending the rest of your life with that person. You have to know what is going on. Even if I'm not going to stop the marriage or stop the relationship, we need to talk about ways to find solution. If you cannot find solution, I'll prepare myself psychologically, because these things can break a marriage. Now imagine a person getting married, you do not know that your husband has a erectile dysfunction. Just not it does not it's not I know that there might be Christians listening. It's not carnality. It's not being it's a need. It's a normal need. Everybody would have sex when you get married. So if your husband has erectile dysfunction, you want to know, can you deal with it? Can you marry such a person? And I believe that people that have such issues should also be open. You cannot make somebody to suffer because you or some people don't want to lose the partner. Probably that's why they do it. Maybe I don't want to lose this lady, so I don't want to tell her. But then I think it's good to be truthful. It's good to be open about this kind of things. If this person can cope with it, fine, she will stay. If she cannot, or if the guy cannot, he will leave. But you cannot make somebody to suffer because of your own selfishness. It is selfishness, and you are just being self-centered, and you are going to make that other person suffer. So you should not do that to that kind of person. So you ask those kind of questions. So we've talked about fertility. Then the next one we talk about is the sexually transmitted infections. I don't know. It's like time has really gone. I've not been able to talk about in details all the things I want to say, but now this final one, sexually transmitted infections. The common ones we have HIV, we have hepatitis B and C. This one is common. This one is transmitted sexually. However, we can have hepatitis A too. Then we also have gonorrhea, we have syphilis, we have other things. Now, you want to know if your partner. Let me still leave HIV and hepatitis. They will be the last part I'll talk about. You want to know if this your partner has had um if they are not treated properly, they can cause infertility issues. They can prevent a person, a man or a woman from being able to produce children, being able to have kids. So you want to be sure that okay, does this person have a history? Okay, in the past though, have you ever had syphilis? Have you ever had gonorrhea? Even if the person doesn't have it now, has it been properly treated? Did you go to a clinic? Hope there is no complication. When you had, hope there was no complication, because a person that has all these things that are not properly treated, they can prevent the woman from getting pregnant, or even prevent the man. Can block the tubes. You know, men they have a lot of tubes in their male reproductive system, so it can block the tubes and prevent proper flow of sperm, and the husband will not be able to impregnate the wife. So you want to know all these things. Were they properly treated when the person had it? And also, let's move to the HIV. HIV is a very well, I will not say is a serious thing now because of the way medicine has advanced. Now we have people that live with HIV and are married, and they have partners that are HIV negative. They don't have HIV, and this is because they have been able to invent medications that will keep the viral load extremely low and almost impossible to transfer the HIV to the next person. But then you still want to know, because sometimes you'll be the one dealing with this person, and you want to be careful, not because you don't want to have it, or you're running away, or you're avoiding them, but it's good for safety for people around you, and it's also good for you to know so that you can prepare yourself psychologically. Because even if I tell you a person now, okay, there's a couple in my front and they've come for counseling. The husband has HIV, the wife doesn't, but okay, they've said that they can actually get married. If I tell this lady that you can get married though, because this your husband's viral load is so low, he cannot transfer the infection to you, it's fine, it's okay. People can have children that don't have HIV, people can live peaceful in the house, no stress, no issue. In fact, you're just telling her to her ears. It's going to take proper rumination, proper thinking about, can I deal with this thing? Because sometimes psychologically is the one that stresses people out. Now, medically, it has been checked that okay, you can actually go ahead and do this. But can I deal with it psychologically? Will you not be avoiding or kind of discriminating, or probably your husband wants to touch you? I'm like, okay, please don't touch me and all that stuff. Or please don't, please, we cannot be sharing spoon in the house. Or please, we cannot share sharp objects. And actually, you're supposed to share sharp objects anyway, but you want to be sure that you can deal with it. You will not cause problems in the marriage because you can eventually end the marriage. If you say, okay, I'm fine with it, and then you will get married and everyone is HIV, you don't have, you probably have been having sex, no HIV, but then you're already giving attitude in the house. These things can affect it can affect a marriage, it can lead to broken homes, it can cause a lot of issues. Then you want to know hepatitis. And hepatitis patients, hepatitis is actually very deadly. Hepatitis is an infection of the liver, and it's caused majorly. This infection occurs when through sex, particularly hepatitis B and C. It occurs through sex. Now, hepatitis A comes through food and drink and other things, but you can still get hepatitis A through sex and body fluids. But you see, hepatitis B and C, which I will be focusing on, that they are deadly strains of hepatitis, infection of the liver, and eventually, if it's not checked, it causes cancer of the liver, and then the person is not able to live long. So you want to know if your partner has hepatitis. Okay, you can there's vaccination for hepatitis to prevent you from getting it. People get it at when they give birth to babies now. The immunization schedule that we have now, you get it at age 0, I think 1 month, at 6 months too. It's 3 shots. So once you get hepatitis vaccine, you are a bit safe. If you are not sure that you have gotten hepatitis vaccine, you can just walk into any government hospital and go to their community health department and get the hepatitis injection, the hepatitis immunization, 3 shots. And even if you have gotten, you can still get booster doses to be sure. Sorry, you can still get booster doses to be sure that okay, I've been vaccinated against hepatitis, and you can go ahead and marry the partner that has hepatitis, and you'll be fine, and you will have children that don't have hepatitis. But also, you still want to know, because you that will even save the life of your partner. If your partner is supposed to be taking medications to keep the viral load low, you will have to like assist. My husband or my wife, darling, sweetheart, whatever you want for yourself, you are not taking your medications today, or you have not gone for checkup recently. I think you should go for checkups to see the viral load, to do this. Then you would encourage, you give psychological support. If you cannot do all these things, if you know that you yourself, all you'll be worrying about is, am I sure I will not get this hepatitis? Am I sure I will not get it? Even medically, when they've told you it's fine, don't go ahead with this marriage, because it will cause trouble. It will cause a lot of issues in the marriage. And marriage, you're supposed to marry somebody to live a peaceful life. Marriage is for a long period of time. You don't want to marriage on wrong way. So if you know that you cannot deal with this, just go ahead and you marry someone else. Yeah, sure. There's someone that can deal with this, you marry that person. That I have been able to like enlighten it before you say yes, I do, or before you fall head over heels with somebody's daughter, somebody's son, and like cannot leave this one again. No. Check these things early in the relationship. It is good for you to know early in the relationship. Not that you people are already in love and then they'll be telling you cannot marry, like we really love each other, we have to marry, we have to marry. You cannot do that because you don't want to put the life of a very innocent person in danger. Thank you very much. Do you have questions? I mean, you can have the questions.
Can you hear me now? Okay. I think I went off for some minutes. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. I guess you are done, ma.
I can hear you.
Okay. So it was I
Yes,
just
ma. Yes, I'm done.
yes, sir. I jotted a lot of things which are very funny to me because I preach about this thing, but I know that I've been deceiving myself in some matters. The place I get or I got the most out of this presentation was family history. It's very important. There's something I taught us where we're doing Yoruba education in primary school on about this family history, something they will send villagers to go and check. I'm just remembering the thing. Under one Igbeyawo something, I can't remember. But I hope you got value. Massive value. And she was straightforward. She was hitting the nail on the point. I was just laughing, saying, people will go and break up today. Please, it's important for that's just the truth. The truth is hard and bitter. So she'll be coming back to answer some questions. I know you want to ask her some questions. Some people want to ask her, Ma, can you do it? No, she said something, go and marry somebody else. I just laughed in my mind. It's not that easy, but that's the truth. Like I said yesterday, I know miracles happen, but my sister, my brother, you have to think about it. Medically, it is wrong. Medically, it is wrong. I'm not trying to be religious here. I'm just telling you, I believe God can do anything, but I've seen people in tears, SS patients in tears. I've seen people that had visions because they got married to somebody with HIV. Some people's immune systems are very strong. Do you understand? And their other their partner, nothing happened to their partner, but them, their visions, their goals, all those potentials they have to give out to the world was not made manifest because of one simple decision, because of one medical checkpoint they failed to consider. So that's why I'm just telling you the truth. The truth is hard, but you have to listen to it. A very wonderful clap to our first guest speaker. Thank you so much, Ma. I'll be bringing our next scientist. My scientist, billionaire scientist. I'm bringing up the billionaire scientist. Please, anything he say. If he say that you should break up your 100 years relationship, go and break up. Spiritually, physically, in all ramifications. Just listen to this guy. I'm with my book. My book is here. I've been writing things. Listen to him and jot things down. Eammnuel. Over to you, sir.
All right, it's nice to be on the show once again, and honestly, I would really like to appreciate the convener of this in person of Nurse ONOGHESE. Honestly, I am very, very grateful, and I really, really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you once again very much. And for everyone that is live and for those that will still be watching subsequently, honestly, you really, really have a lot to learn. And honestly, from the two speakers have said almost everything, but there are still some parts I would just like to touch, and there will be no need for unnecessary repetitions, but just to go straight to the point. Now, I would like to remind you and state emphatically that the aim of this is not to cut you and your partner short, neither is it to just break you, but I would like to give you the aim in 2 points. Now, the first one is the aim of this is to either give you the choice of breaking up, and secondly, the second point is for you to prepare, like the previous speaker has said, is for you to psychologically prepare you for what is ahead and what is about to come. Now, before you say I do, there are some things you have to put into consideration. There are some facts you have to weigh. There are so many things that you really, really need to understand before you can venture into a particular relationship. It is really, really important, and it is of course, very, very necessary. So, and please, not to intimidate anyone that is not medically, you know, should I say, don't let me say learned now, but if I should use that, it won't look like an insult. But anybody that is not medically inclined, don't feel discouraged. This talk, or should I say this checkpoint program, has really, really given it to the lowest level. So I believe you have been catching up and you have been understanding some things. So I would like to break it down as easy and as simple as it might come to you. Now, I would like to talk on three basic points, although the fourth one is just like a peripheral of it. Now, the first, I have just 3 points. The first one is genotype testing. The second one is resource and ABO blood group testing. Then the third one is fertility. Of course, the previous speaker has said most of it all. She has said most of it all, and honestly, she has done justice to everything. And that is why, of course, Nurse Adesanya is always respected for exceptionality. So I would like to move to genotype testing. Now, as she has said earlier, there are various types of genotypes, but the basic one that we are all familiar and is very, very common in our society is the AA, the AS, and the SS. And we also have some other ones. We have the AC, we have the CC, we have the SC. Now, sorry, please excuse me. Now, it is very, very important that you really, really know the you and your partner are aware of what your genotype is before you finally decide that, okay, yes, I want to settle down with this person, I want to settle down with that person. Now, I want you to understand something, that the decision you make affects every other person that is related to you. And I think Nurse ONOGHESE did justice to that, and he also said that he made mention of that statement. Now, it really, really affects you in the sense that whatever result or whatever products that you are going to give birth to, whatever child you are going to give birth to, looking at it under Mendel's principle of crossing, you will end up having some particular kind of kids. Now, take for instance, when you have your AA and your AS coming together, it's not a bad idea, because eventually you will end up having just AA, and just few proportion of the AS. Just like we have it on our slide here, we can see the AA and AA, they can of course marry. We have the AA and AS, they can as well marry. Now, anything that will cause an AS to come together with an AS. Now, let me make mention of this, and let me just chip this in. There's this particular story I heard during my posting at General Hospital here at Ikorodu. Now, I got to understand that the child, the father and the mother of this particular child, which was our SS patient, they were like, okay, why did you get married to this person? I think I happened to hear the doctor questioning them, and they were like, they were aware of this particular genotype crossing and the likes, but they just decided to try their chance. Now, what chance did they try to take? Now, if you look at this particular slide, you see the AS and the AS can get married. Now, under the possible combination, we have the AA, we have the AS, we have the AS, and we have the SS. Now, if I try to understand what these people were saying, probably because of the way something is being arranged in order, like AA, AS, and SS, that was what gave them the, like, they said, I think they said the other day, they said they wanted to give birth to just 2 children. And in their own thinking and in their own understanding, they felt it like, okay, it will come this same way, the way it is being arranged. That is the same way their child is going to come out. Like, okay, the firstborn will be AA and the secondborn will be AS. They believe it's supposed to have worked like that. But to their disappointment, they ended up finding out that their firstborn came out with the genotype SS. Now, I would not like to shock you that had it been they decided to give birth to another child immediately, that there is every probability that next child will be SS as well. So this Mendel's crossing is just a kind of a kind of probability. It's what we call probability. And if you understand what probability is, it comes with uncertainties. But it is not to say now that if you are an AA and you get married to an AA, that you will end up having a child of AS. It is not possible. Now, in every gene there are alleles. Now, I would not like to be too scientific so that you don't get lost in my conversation. But what I'm trying to say is that it does not really depend on, okay, this is how it has been arranged and this is how it should go. Then you now say you trying to be smart, you believe your first child will be AA. Just take a look at this instance that I just gave you, the clinical example, the clinical instance that I just gave you. The man said they plan on giving birth to just 2 children, and they never believed that the 2 of them will by any chance have the genotype SS. So you can just see that this Mendel's crossing comes by chance. But it doesn't mean that you will end up giving a combination that is not in correlation with any of your genotype. There is what we call dominant gene, and there's what we call recessive. Now, if you look at every Now, it is very important that you do not take any risk, you do not take any chance. Once you notice that you are having AS, you are AS by genotype and your partner is AS by genotype, please, it is very essential that you break such tie, that you break such relationship. I'm very sorry, but I'm going to be coming blunt at you this night. It is very important that you come blank at it, and you just have to cut the relationship. So, but there are many other health challenges that, of course, there is a complementary step that you can take to overcome such challenges. So now, I would also like to state emphatically that even when you have the test, you have to do it repeatedly. It is very important that you have your test and you do it repeatedly. It is very important that you do. So please, sorry for the interruption. I said it is important that you do it repeatedly. I want you to understand that there is always how will I put it? There is always a crooked product of everything that you do. So it's important that you do it repeatedly. I've seen cases whereby genotypes are not being done properly and mistakes, a negative and a false result are being given. So I would just advise that on genotype testing, you do it repeatedly, so as to be very sure of it. Do it in different hospitals. In fact, the both of you can go do it several times, 3 times at most. Even it is very important nowadays, people do genotype from a very young age, so it's better you do your genotype and don't just do it once. Don't settle for once, repeat the test. Now I would like to go to the second point, which is resource and ABO compatibility. Now, it is very important. This resource and ABO compatibility might have a way out. In case you still want to go on, you still want to press on with your marriage, there is a way out. It is not as bad as that. Now, I would like to talk on ABO incompatibility in pregnancy. But before I do that, I would like to just scan through all the ABO groups that we are having. We have the what's it called? We have the A positive, we have the A negative, we have the B positive, we have the B negative, we have the AB positive, we have the AB negative, we have the O positive, we have the O negative. Now, there is no big deal like that. In case you are O, you are blood group O, and you want to of course marry any other blood group of any other type, there is actually no problem. You can go ahead and you can move on with it. There is no complication for you to be scared of. There's nothing to scare you off of it. But where the problem might come is the resource compatibility. Now, the resource incompatibility might come in sense that, take for instance, a mother that is a resource negative confirmed, that is having a negative resource on our blood group, red blood cell. Now that mother is, if such mother eventually carries a child that is resource positive, it is it might come in a way that for the first pregnancy, she will give birth to such child. In my slide here, you will see that she will give birth to such child peacefully. But where the problem might come, where complications might come, is when she starts having her second pregnancy down to her third and to whatever number she plans on going. You can see here that in this slide here, you can see that when she gives birth to her first child, the blood of the child mixes with the blood of the mother, and that will cause a process called sensitization. When I mean sensitization in the sense that the red blood cell will, I think the nurse Adesanya made explanation to what antigens and antibodies are. Antigens are proteins that are very, very responsible and capable of causing antibody stimulation and production. Now, I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. Now, imagine a mother that is having a resource, whether negative, AB negative, B negative, A negative. Now, imagine such mother gives birth to a first child, which is probably a positive. Now, that positive resource of that baby, when it comes in contact with the mixture, when the blood mixes with the mother, it will cause, like I said, it will cause a kind of sensitization, which will lead to antibody production. Now, the reason why the baby will not be at arm at first is because it usually takes time. It takes time for these antibodies to be produced. So all through the stay of the baby, all through the gestational period of such child, the child will be safe. But upon the second pregnancy, the antibodies that this mother has produced in the previous pregnancy she has had will how will I say it? The previous pregnancy, the antibodies produced will see the baby as a foreign body, a body that is unwanted, an antigenic body, and because of that baby will undergo hemolysis. I think you understand what I'm saying. Red blood cell hemolysis, whereby the antibodies will begin to fight the baby, and the antibodies will begin to fight the baby, the red blood cells of the baby, till there is hemolysis. Hemolysis is simply lysis of the blood. So imagine a child that whose red blood cells are being lysed. Imagine what will happen. A lot of other will go into shock and so many things. It will even lead to the death of the baby, depending on how severe it is. So it is very, very important that you know your resource factor before you go into marriage. Now you can now be asking me, but what about if I am resource negative and my intending partner, my intending husband is resource positive? There is something you can do, and that's what the nurse Adesanya made mention of the other time. She simply said she forgot the name. The name is just Rogan injection. So it will prepare you. You can notice now that when you know these things, it will prepare you ahead. It will prepare you both financially, both psychologically, and both emotionally and everything. You will know that you have to go for you have to go for counseling by the doctor to know when and how you will be going about the Rogan injection. So that is why you see that lectures like this, sensitizations like this is very, very important for you. So you have to know your resource factor before you go into marriage. Now, the third one I would like to talk about is the infertility testing. Yeah, it is very, 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 very important that you test for your fertility. How fertile are you? The nurse the other time made mention of so many tests that you can do. She made mention of HIV. She made mention of schizophrenia and so many other infertility tests you can do. We have the hormonal testing. We have the scanning, the pelvic imaging. It is very, very important that you even know, as a lady, it is very, very important that you know what type of pelvics are you having. It will help you to prepare your mind whether you like to give birth normally or you would like to do it through a C and S. So it is very, very important that you know all these things. It is very, very important that you go for endometriosis testing to know a lot of things. See, let me tell you, you just have to go to the doctor, and the doctor will tell you the test that you should go for. Either it is hormonal testing, either it is thyroid testing. We need to really, really know. And she made mention of erectile functioning. Yes, it is very, very important. Get to know the type of get to know how your male partner responds to any stimulation, to any sexual stimulation. Know if he responds. Don't just go into marriage, then at the end of the day you start casting everything on spiritual. Hello, let me tell you, by the grace of God, I'm a spiritual person, but there is a place for you to take physical step first before you invite what the spiritual is. I'm sure if God had it in mind that every spiritual every infertility problem, once that you calling upon him for every infertility problem, he will just answer you. He wouldn't have probably given the knowledge of doctors and given the knowledge of nurses and scientists and the like. So it is important you take the first step. And what is that first step? Making a physical move. What is the physical move that you have to take? You have to go for fertility testing. And I would also like to tell you, on this fertility concept, I would like to warn you and really, really sound it to you that it is not every infertility problem that every couples are facing that is caused by probably their previous lifestyle. We have some particular infertility problem that is caused as a result of genetics. Now, I wrote here, in as much as the world believes that infertility is self-inflicted to previous lifestyle before deciding to settle, let's also remember that some infertilities are inherited. A research done in 2013 has estimated 50% infertility cases are due to genetic defects. Now, see, let me make mention of something to you, and let me make it clear to you. If you are infertile, it is not the end of the world. Now, I said something the other time. I said there are two goals of this particular teaching to everyone that is listening now. It is either you break up, or it is either you are left with a choice to continue and to prepare your mind. Now, take for instance someone that did not go for fertility testing and just decide to venture into marriage. You decide to venture and go into marriage, and you later found out after 5 years of going for different tests. In fact, some people will even compromise their faith because they are looking for child. You didn't, just because you didn't do the right thing or take the right step. Now, the right step you should have taken is that you should have gone for fertility testing. So now it is not late. You have been informed. You have been told. You have been sensitized about fertility. Make sure that you go to a doctor. Go to a doctor to write for you tests that should be carried out. We have hormonal testing, we have the imaging, we have, in fact, even under the STI, we have chlamydia testing. So it is very, very important that you know your status, know your fertility status, Don't hang everything. Don't base everything on spiritual. Not everything is spiritual. If there is a defect in your gene, as in relation to fertility, it is not because you are bad. It is not because you have done something bad. It is because there is just need for correction. And thank God for research, for advancement, for technology. We have artificial reproductive techniques that can be employed, that can be implemented in order to help you in becoming fertile, in order to help you having sustaining a very healthy home and by having children. So it is very, very important. Don't be ignorant of this. It's very important that you and your partner, in fact, you go together. Now, it is not the end of the world, as I said the other time, in case you find out that one of you is infertile. There are so many steps that can be taken to rectify every infertility. Every infertility, we have the artificial insemination, we have, and so many of them. So you don't have the work to think of what will be the solution. You don't have the work to think of, it's not your own function to think of, or it's not your own role to play, to think of what type of test will I do. Yours is just to make yourself available. Make yourself available. Go to a medical practitioner, go to a doctor, get yourself tested. You and your partner, get yourself tested. Don't end up telling stories that touches the heart. Don't end up saying, had I know, I would have done this, I would have done that. Please, if you're listening to this right now, it is very, very important that you know all these things. I come again, I would like to recap all that I've been saying. I start from number one. I said the genotype testing. It is important you know your genotype. Don't bring a child to this world to suffer. It is very important. Just as the previous two speakers have said, a lot of children are suffering, and I have seen and I have experienced it. A lot of children are suffering when they are not supposed to suffer. So please don't bring a child to this world and make that child suffer. Now, number two, I said results and ABO testing. It's very important you know your ABO. In fact, that has been a normal thing. That has been a rudiment for even getting into the higher institution. And in case you are not in higher institution, it's no big deal. Just still go to a laboratory. And I even think it's very cheap at the rate of 2,000, 2,500. It is very, very important that you do all these things at the rate of 2,000, 2,500. You will get the ABO, your ABO grouping done. You will get your genotype as well done. So don't say because of the 2,000 you will end up not doing what you are supposed to do. And at the end of the day, in the future, you will end up looking for over 100,000, over 150 or 200 or 500,000 just because you're looking for a child. Correct it now. Make A while the sun shine. And the last one, I said infertility testing. In case you find yourself not fertile, it's not the end of the world. There are so many steps. There are so many techniques that can be used. There are so many plans. There are so many help. There are so many ways, method by which a female can be helped to reproduce. There are so many corrections that can be done on the male as well to help you in order to produce properly. This will just prepare your mind ahead so that nothing will catch you by surprise. I always believe in that nothing should catch you by surprise. Please never let anything catch you by surprise. And also, it is very important that you go for STI. She has explained and she has done justice to that. You have to check for your HIV status. You have to check for your hepatitis status. You have to check for your even chlamydia. So many people has ignored chlamydia, but it is a very, very reoccurring incident now in the society, and so many others. We have the gonorrhea. So it is important you check for these things. Go to a doctor, seek for proper checkup, thorough checkup. In fact, everything. Don't mind the expenses now. It is better you spend now so that you don't spend triple, quadruple first, including. So please just ensure that you do what is necessary. So thank you very much for your time once again, and I would like to take question in now, if you don't mind. Nurse ONOGHESE, over to you, sir.
Wow. I don't know what to say again. I'm super excited. I've learned a lot. It's not looking as if I'm not serious or I did not do my presentation very well. Look at these people. I invited you to do presentation and you took away the stage for me.
My God. we felt your lecture as well yesterday.
I know Buko, in case you're saying I did not teach all this one yesterday on the first. I know Buko, please. I know Book very well. So I'll just go to 3 questions. I know that the other questions have been answered. Like I was saying before we started the live class, I said some of the questions were funny, but I would still like us to just answer it. So anybody can just unmute to answer the question. I'll read the first question here. The first question is, sir, okay, let me skip the story she said yesterday. She said, is it really easy? Is it really easy to leave him after discovering his AS and I'm AS? I'm already emotionally attached to this person. Our relationship is over 3 years now. Sir, can you give me steps? Can you highlight steps for me I can take in ending this relationship or in stopping this relationship for now?
Okay, so if
you can answer, I'm not sure, no.
All right, so the person wants to end a relationship, but if I may ask, what exactly is the problem? Is it that she discovered the genotype, or what exactly is this?
Yes, the genotype, AS.
AS.
Relationship of 4 years.
Wow. Okay, let me just say something before I will hand over to Nurse Adesoya to any contribution she has. Now, the thing is, for everything that happens, there are some tough times, there are some tough decisions we have to make. Now, the issue of this genotype, if you are AS and your partner is as well AS, you can't gamble. I said it, I made mention of the example the other time, the practical example of a man believing that he just wanted to settle for just 2 kids, and that was all. He believed that just as the way Mendel has arranged it, that the same way his child is going to come forth, and to his surprise, SS came forward. Now, I'll just tell her that for a situation like this, there is no remedy. It's going to hurt. It's just the simple truth. I've been in love. Everybody has been in love, one way or the other. It's just going to hurt. So, but there is no. It's the truth now. There is no hide and seek about that. It just has to end. It has to end. That so that they will not end up suffering a child. If you're listening to me right now, don't suffer your child. The child you'll be giving birth to. Don't watch your child in pain all the time. See, it's a very, very bad experience. It is better you break it off now. Break it off now. Break it off now. And just pray along. Pray along. I know my nurse will start saying, Oga, don't carry spiritual and enter this thing. Pray along. It is important. Prayer is life. So just pray along and God will send another man to you. I'm sorry, but it just had to end. So over to you, nurse.
Okay, Nurse Adesoya, do you have any comments?
Okay, our scientist already said everything that needs to be said. The relationship just has to end. Really. You cannot keep being in that relationship. Once you don't have, people are not planning to get married. If you get married, you are going to cause a lot of problems for who you are going to give birth to. So why do you want to bring us into troubles and problems? God said, but you should take that step. Like, okay, talking to this person often, people should try to reduce the way you talk. Then people should, all the things that you used to do together, just reduce it. And over time, because there's a thing that when you keep talking to someone, I keep saying is that if you keep talking to somebody every day, ending the relationship with that kind of person will be difficult. So if you know that people are, you don't want to have children now, you just talking to this person every day. Find ways to distract yourself. Prayer, boom. Do something else. Okay. And then God will help you and send you somebody better. And
Amen for you. I think I'm also going to chat you personally. I know the person asking. Don't worry, I'm not going to call your name. I'm going to chat you personally to we'll talk. There's no problem. Don't worry. I got your secrets. So the second one, I think is
I would just like to keep this in that you can please do a thorough follow-up. It's not easy. Basically, the concept of what we are saying is just medical checkpoints. We are not here on help as to as to remain sustained after a breakup. So please, if you can just do a thorough checkup, or any one of the 3 of us can be of help to the person. If you are listening like this,
yeah. By God's grace, I will be collecting my license.
Thank you very much, sir.
7th. So after that, I'll be a full-time nurse. So the second question, I think, yes. So the second question, I think, has been answered during the first one. I'll just ask the third one. The third one is saying, is it possible? I've did my research. I don't fully understand this, but is it possible for me to marry an HIV positive person without being infected, or my child or our children being infected? Let me just chip in something. I don't know, but I think I've heard of couples that are HIV together, and they gave birth to children that don't have HIV. I don't know, so I'm not giving you a full answer here now. But I want to say I'm not saying it's my person that asks the question. If you have sex, you are going to get HIV. If you have sex, you are going to get HIV. I know of the children, and I've heard of it. I think when I was in St. Louis or so in Owo, I've heard of it that there's something they do, sha. But me, I know that if you have sex, so sis, I'm not calling your name, sis, you are going to carry this thing. But okay, let's see what our guests have to say about that.
Okay, would she like to go first or I should go first? Okay, let me go first then. Now, it's possible, and I think there was a particular research I was doing a day, and it is very, very possible. In fact, it has become a thing of ease now. A HIV couple can have a child, can bear children that will be HIV negative. Now, for the case of you not being infected, I'm sorry to say, except if you don't plan on procreating, or except if you want to go for the how will I put it now? Assisted reproductive technique. Probably if the man is the one with the HIV, it's not even possible. If it is even the man that is with the HIV, it's not possible that you will not, of course, infect your wife, because HIV is mostly found in body fluids like blood, obviously, and it is found in the seminal fluid. Do you understand? Seminal fluid that comes along with every release during ejaculation. So it is not possible for you not to infect your wife. So what I'll just advise you is, in case you want to become infected, in case you want to share in the love and you want to become infected, no problem. But if you love your child so much, your child can, of course, be free. My nurse is laughing. Your child can be free, sure you get, but you not having it as a result of intercourse with your wife is not possible. So except you plan on having, how will I put it, having a kind of sexual intercourse that will not really lead to procreation. So it's found in seminal fluid. So it's not possible that you will not give your wife. It's not possible. So
Scientist Oluwatusi said you want to share in the love. I'm sorry I'm using it to laugh. I'm very sorry. I know how these questions can be very emotional. And I'm sorry I'm using it's just the truth. Yesterday I was very emotional, but today I don't want to be very emotional again. Do you understand? I'm just sorry I had to laugh about it. I know what I'm saying. So I'm sorry I have to laugh about it. In case you are watching it, you are on the live call, you asked me the question yesterday. So I'm sorry I'm laughing about it. I know I told you to answer your question today. Not JesuNifemi. Hello? I think you are muted. Okay, so I can hear you now.
What I have to say is sorry, don't mind our pressure cooker. We're actually cooking, so it's making a lot of noise. Now, what I'm going to say is that for you to marry, for now, at least with some research, it's been proven that you can actually get married to someone that's HIV positive, and you people have sexual intercourse without the other person having the infection. And this is possible with the use of drugs. There are some drugs that have been proven to keep the viral load so low that it's almost impossible for you to transmit to anybody. However, you cannot be too sure. So it's better you can marry the person, but you keep using protection. So like, okay, to be sure. If you want to different. But you have to go to the hospital, check the viral load patterns, and the viral load is so low, and the doctor tells them that they can actually get married to people like normal people that don't have HIV, and they can have children that are HIV negative too. So I believe that medicine is really improving. So we can, if you have somebody that wants to marry an HIV positive person, it's fine. So far, the person is constantly on medication and viral load is extremely low, but there's no cure yet. So, as I said, you might want to share in the love too, in case you get it. I mean, your husband.
So, just be careful. We are medical people, and we know about this thing very well. Like I said before on using the yesterday slide, I said make sure you have a medical consultant. Do you understand? Make sure you have a medical consultant. I'm putting a disclaimer on this video now that everything we have said is based on our research, based on what we know. There is possibility that there is a little bit of distortion, I say now, or something may not work out as we have said. So I'm putting a disclaimer. Before you said I attended a webinar about ONOGHESE pressures and they told me to marry HIV. I know they, you won't see me. So I want to sincerely appreciate everyone that attend this meeting. I want to sincerely appreciate those people that will watch the replay of this meeting. I know a lot of people, we don't have up to 100 people on this live meeting, but I know over the coming months, over the coming days, people will refer back to this video. And trust me, all these videos are going to now be on pre-order. All these videos are going to be on sales. You are just looking at these accounts and what are we doing? You are taking this in for levity, but very soon, this information are going to be priceless. There's potentiality in this thing we are doing today. And please, practice everything we have said. I love everyone, and I want to appreciate our guest speakers. Like I said, these people are people of value, people that are respected in both in schools, both in hospitals, and the rest. So I want to sincerely appreciate scientist Eammnuel and Nurse Adesoya JesuNifemi. So I'll see you. In case you have other questions, you can message on the comment section or message me directly at 09079866545. I'm on all social media platforms as ONOGHESE Precious. You can message me for any of the guest speakers' numbers or their social media handle. And it was a wonderful time with you guys. I'll see you next time. Our next meeting is going to be on handling depression. We're going to be having our next meeting on handling depression, battling depression, and we're going to be having Ejiro Odibo on the live show. So I want to see you. That's Upper Friday, battling depression with ONOGHESE Precious and Odibo Blessing. Thank you. Good night.